This video will explain APRA's new 20% cap on new mortgages with DTI over 6. I'll draw a diagram and a metaphor that you'll certainly understand in 3 minutes. So jumping to my drawing board or my notepad over here, who the F is APRA? Well, APRA, he's like a early old boomer Gen X dad, okay? Let's call APRA, also known as Loan Daddy. Now, Loan Daddy APRA over here, he's got 5 daughters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 daughters. Now, for years, APRA, prior to the 2nd of February, which is where this new rule, DTI over 6, will be introduced in 2026. Prior to this, oh my APRA, which is a metaphor for this loan daddy over here, for years, he's allowed his, 21 to 22-year-old daughters, these 5 daughters over here, which is a metaphor for investors, right? Investor clients over here. Like these girls over here, these bloody investors over here, prior to this change that will be introduced in February 2026, these girls were hitting Ivy establishment. They were partying hard, right? They were investing their time to having a good time at Ivy and establishment, as I said in that metaphor, right? There was no curfew from APRA. And because of that, his 5 daughters, also known as the investors in this example, they had a wild time, right? If you ask each of them, what is your body count? More than 10. Yes, they were very wild investors. There was no hard, fast curfew on the debt-to-income ratio, as you read in many articles on this APRA new change, the DTI. I know a lot of you who has read the article or watched similar videos about the explanation of APRA and DTIs don't really get it, so let me break it down further for you. Because Q, you'll be asking me, what the hell is DTI anyway, debt-to-income ratio? Well, let's apply to this example. Well, according to DTI in this metaphor, it stands for Tease Index, right? So basically, his 5 investor daughters, the DTI, the Tease Index, before the new changes will take place in February, the Tease Index, the DTIs, they could wear as short as they want to go to these clubs. And APRA daddy over here wouldn't care. You want to wear a mini skirt? Oh, that's okay. Those very revealing white fox sexy clubbing outfits? APRA Tease Index was very high. The more you could tease and wear little clothing to tease while you're in the clubs, go for your life. But one day at the pub, APRA Loan Daddy was having a drink. His mates came along, old mate RBA Boomer and the pollies in Canberra, They were speaking in APRA's ear and going, "Oh, mates, look, my daughter who goes to church saw your daughter at the club while she was walking down, her Bible study after night. Ooh, very scandalous." And they're like, "Oh, mate, you should put a restriction on their Tease Index, which is the debt-to-income ratio, the DTI. And therefore, we introduce the 20% cap and the DTI over 6. So after the chat at the pub, Loan Daddy, which is APRA, was like, "All right, I'm going to put a stop to this because I can't lose face to the RBA and the police." So that night, APRA, the Loan Daddy, rounded up his daughters, his 5 daughters, the investors, and said, "As of February 2026, right, your Tease Index, which is the DTI, can't exceed 6, which means, you girls, if you go to a club and you ask a dude, okay, how do you rate me? If they rate you over 6, well, you're breaching DTI. To be fair to all you 5 investors' daughters, right, I'll apply a 20% cap, which means every weekend, one of you can only exceed 6, which means you can wear the white fox and the clubbing outfits, the sexy clubbing outfits, no worries. But the rest of you girls, you can wear Suzanne, Katie's, all those old woman clothings, the ones that you look at and you look like bloody hell. She looks like a bloody auntie. In that effect, 1 in 5, which is 20%, who's allowed to wear clothing, which is the Tease Index over 6, well, she'll get all the boys, right? She'll get most of the body counts. While the rest who wear the old women clothes, Katie's, Suzanne, they look like bloody church girls, like long skirts to the bloody ankle, long sleeve, turtleneck, they look like bloody nuns. So to wrap up this metaphor, if Ivy and establishment or all these so-called cool clubs out there in Sydney right now, right, they represent the property market. So as of 1st of February or 2nd of February 2026, you'll see less hot girls at those establishments. Thanks to their loan daddies, right? They do not allow their daughters' DTI index to go over 6, which means if they have to wear Katie, Suzanne, and all these David Jones old people's clothes, women clothes, they won't go out. So in effect, we'll have less investors going out to these clubs and they're staying at home. Only 1 out of 5 can go out and partay. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a very vulgar, nutshell explanation of APRA's new ruling as of February 2026. And hopefully with less promiscuous investors entering these so-called investor clubs, then what happens, those men and women who have a Tease Index less than 6, for example, you look at them, mate, you look like a 3 out of 10, you look like a 5 out of 10. Well, they can now have a chance to enter these clubs and have a chance to increase their bloody body count. Those people are the bloody first home buyers, the bloody property virgins. They haven't popped a cherry yet, right? You guys are popping bloody cherries every night, 10 body counts. We have 0. We are bloody virgins. Give us a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a very sexualized example of the dating scene, which is the property scene of APRA's new regulation as of February 2026. Jump in the comments, let me know whether I bloody confused you.